I found it incredibly useful. Getting peer review back from a fellow student, it's a lot more, it feels like it's more on the same level. So a lecturer can tell you what you've done wrong, but they're coming from it with the perspective of having years and years of experience. Whereas a student's looking at it more from the perspective of what do we have to change to get a good grade for this module. Getting it from another student, it's less terrifying because they're in exactly the same position. They've just had themselves peer reviewed. So it's less terrifying, so it makes you more likely to listen to them, I think. And a really nicely done peer review, all it's meant to do is help you get better. So it should be taken in the spirit it's given, I think. My entire method section had been written in the wrong tense, and it's only after that was pointed out to me that I went back and went, oh yes, so it is. Another point was made that my introduction was probably not as detailed as it should have been. It didn't touch on enough points, which I had realised before I'd sent it, but it made me go back over it and write it again. We had a disagreement over how to reference journals. So I thought I'd referenced correctly, and she thought she had. So we had a conversation over which one was correct, and it was a really useful dialogue to open up because it pointed out that, this is going to sound nasty, but she had a gap in her knowledge. And we fixed it together. We went to a lecturer, we asked it, we sorted it out, and it was a really useful dialogue to have. And I think it opened up like the entire class. It made everyone talk to each other. Writing the peer review for somebody else who'd done a very good job, it was like peering over someone's shoulder and seeing a really good example of what it could be, but also not necessarily stealing, more like remembering ideas for later on. So the person I peer reviewed had included a diagram to explain how the experiment was done, whereas I'd just explained it with words. And the diagram was clearly so much more effective that I included it in my final report, and it was picked up on and noticed that I'd improved on that. Forced myself to think about what words I was using and remember to put it in context, because obviously not everyone will understand scientific terminology. So yeah, I found it very, very helpful, very improving. My favourite part of the module was writing the peer review, because we were given a checklist of points, but that was only after we'd done our initial introduction and methods, and it forced us to really think about what we were writing and how we were doing it, because if we'd just gotten those checklists of points straight away, we'd have filled them in as if like in a table and not thought about it. But we'd had the initial thought, and then we had to think in more depth about what we were writing and how we were going to convey it to an audience. So yeah, it was a load of fun. I enjoyed it.